All right, let's chant. I bow to him, the Blessed One, the Honored One, the Fully Awakened One. I bow to him, the Blessed One, the Honored One, the Fully Awakened One. I bow to him, the Blessed One, the Honored One, the Fully Awakened One. I now take refuge in the Buddha. I now take refuge in the Dhamma. I now take refuge in the Sangha. For a second time, I take refuge in the Buddha. For a second time, I take refuge in the Dhamma. For a second time, I take refuge in the Sangha. For a third time, I take refuge in the Buddha. For a third time, I take refuge in the Dhamma. For a third time, I take refuge in the Sangha. I undertake the training to abstain from intentionally killing living beings. I undertake the training to abstain from taking what is not given. I undertake the training to abstain from abusive sexual acts. I undertake the training to abstain from telling lies and harsh speech. I undertake the training to abstain from taking intoxicants which lead to heedlessness. If by deed, speech, or thought, foolishly I have done some wrong, may all forgive me, honored ones, who are in forgiveness and compassion strong. I freely forgive anyone who may have hurt or injured me. Above all else, I freely forgive myself. Goodwill, may I be happy, may I be free from stress and pain, may I be free from animosity, may I be free from oppression, may I be free from trouble, may I look after myself with ease. May all beings be happy, may all beings be free from stress and pain, may all beings be free from animosity, may all beings be free from oppression, may all beings be free from trouble, may all beings look after themselves with ease. Anything else? I guess we spoke about the noble truth of stress, so let's do that one. Birth is stressful, aging is stressful, death is stressful, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair are stressful. Association with things we dislike is stressful. Separation from things we like is stressful. Not getting what we want is stressful. In short, the 5 building blocks of identity, prone to clinging, namely form, feeling, perception, fabrications, and consciousness, are stressful, inconstant, and not self. And this, meditators, is the noble truth of the origination of stress, the longing that makes for further becoming, accompanied by delighting here and there, that is, longing for sense objects, longing for becoming, and longing for non-becoming. Anything else? No? Okay. I'll breathe out together. And another good one. When you breathe in, just let the breath go everywhere. In our world of preferences, we tend to prefer breath in every place, or in certain places. Breathe for the whole sensory experience. Stress tends to put walls and mountains between the spaciousness of the breath and breathe in a way that breath seeps into every crevice and nook in the sensory experience. Just breathe with openness. Let this body be a vessel with its own pumping action. We subtly have this view, I am the breather, when in fact there's a more accurate view that there is just breathing. Can you see and compare the feeling of both of those? Can you feel take on the view, I am the breather? How does that feel in the breath? How does that feel in a space of spaciousness? Does it create more walls, or does it open things up? And now shift that view to there is breathing, there is pumping action outside my control, it's outside my ownership. There's no need for an identity as breather. Oxygen is being absorbed and released without my needing to sign off on each exchange of oxygen in my blood cells. How does that feel to really relax into that view, more accurate view? Can you again relax the view with respect to our breath experience? Our breath experience is how we know we're here. What is the deepest layer of sensation? It's constantly flowing. Breath tells us information about what is here. It doesn't need to imply a claim. There is an I here. There is just merely a sensory layer. And it's always operating without my strongest identity that arises midday, or if you're a morning person, first thing in the morning. For most of us in the morning, our sense of identity isn't as strong as later. So it's easier to sense into this layer of what I call sensitivity that's fed and unfed and yet inseparable from the breath. Can you just let that realm be without having to discover it? Just recognize its mere existence. It's the in-between, the unnamed. It's can have a flowing liquid feel to it, or a buzzing electric, fiery feel to it, or can have a pressury, airy, windy feel to it. But it gets in between things. The way air, water, and fire can get in between things. Try and soften so that there's more space between the heaviness and the strewn and clunky field of objects that feel like our ordinary bodily experience. A tight knee or jaw. It's the labeled object world of the body that we kind of sort of pick up and drop when we look at it. We assume it's always there, that it's the only experience of having a body, is to have these two arms and two legs and sore spots, and we're really picking up a perception and putting it back down in a sort of ritualized dance that holds our identity together. Keep activating the space in between, feeling into the nooks and crannies of sensory experience, till there's a generalized flow. When we drop our clinging to kamma, we don't drop our relationship to an abstraction. It's not sensuality, it's a sense, it's our relationship to a sense object. And it's because the field relationship is predominant. The pervasive openness of experience. The relationship of clinging towards sense objects fades away on its own when the field awareness starts to be sensed and not blocked anymore. Each new layer and unpeeling of these 4 types of clinging in the breath body, that field awareness grows. So as you're breathing and relaxing into the broader field of sensory experience, notice the types of attachments or clinging that arise. See if you can note how they're sort of unnecessary incrustations onto this field. Let them sort of come and go without altering your sense of a deeper reality at play. Soften your views. Question your assumptions. They may be blocking our ability to perceive this incrustation, this sankhara, fabrication, the unseen aggregation of experiences that appears unified, that creates the experience of a life. Life continues and is even happier when the aggregation of these components that make up a unified identity start to be seen in their particulars. That's the unique approach, the Buddhist way, to ending suffering. The path is about releasing the net, hooked and attached, one by one. It's a patient, long-distance path. How am I cementing my identity here in a way that's, we're not talking about survivalism, of course, or functioning in the world. We're not talking about that layer of self. We're talking about the fabricated self. How do I know I'm here? What am I referring to? What is here and not there? Can I travel to a not there and find a not here? You can try to move. Or am I creating labels and jumping from one label and abandoning another and picking up another? But did an I actually move? Or is there just a field of sensations in consciousness in which that can't be divided between a here and a there, except through the artificial anchor of the arising of a perception and the disappearing of a perception? Which one is it? It can't be both. So if consciousness is ultimately still, unmoved, it's only perceptions that create the sense of movement, of here and there, based on divisions. If there's a space that's divisionless, everywhere all at once, you can verify that right here and right now. Stay with that. Let the joy of oneness become the experience of presence, being grounded in joy. Where's the experience, here I am, when everything I am? How do you separate from experience except through thoughts and labels, perceptions, memories? Nothing's a distraction, nothing that arises. Just an opportunity for a sacred connection. Acknowledging the arising and disappearing of this. Knowing of this truth and this truth. In a sense, the Buddha is saying the thing we suffer from the most is the trauma of constructing an identity. That I'm limited, an object. Not the reality of my openness. My extensivity, fundamental limitlessness. With a limitless and boundless heart, let's share metta with all beings. May all beings overcome the strictures of object-bound identity consciousness. May they know freedom, connection with all beings, intimacy with all things, boundless love. May all beings be free.